everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, maybe not my channel, but another one of my videos. And before I start today's topic, which is the grid method of multiplying out brackets, also sometimes known as boxes, I want to thank everyone that's watching this now and for everyone's criticism. It really helps me make the videos better for you guys, so thank you, I really appreciate it. And a piece of criticism I've gotten in the last few days is the subtitles. The subtitles I did in the last two videos. A few people have actually brought up to me that they're not as noticeable, they're not paying as much attention to them, and they're just not as useful as maybe I thought it'd be. So as for me, I do spend a lot of time editing my videos and adding the subtitles, typing it in and stuff. So I guess it does make it easier on me because the time I spend editing, I could be spending making more videos for you guys. And on top of that, I did my nails the other day, so accurate screen tapping isn't very accurate at the moment. So I've decided to skip out on the subtitles for maybe this video and maybe 2 or 3 after, and see how it goes and stuff. But let me know in the comments, and if you think you're someone that needs the subtitles and finds them useful, that appreciates them, do let me know, and I don't mind spending a little bit more time editing, a little bit more time on my video to make the video more accessible for you guys. So yeah, just let me know, and I hope you enjoy. My first one's always going to be an easy one, and this is an easy one because we only have one number outside of the brackets. So since we only have one number outside the brackets, which maybe I should change the brackets to another color to make it easier on us, help us out. Since we only have one number outside the brackets, that means we only need one row. So we draw kind of like a rectangular box. And we need to count the numbers that are inside the bracket. So we have x, which is 1, and we have -3, which is our second term or value, I guess. So since we have 2 here, we need to split this row into 2. So we draw a line down the middle, which leaves us with 2 columns. This is column 1, this is column 2. And we put the number that's outside the brackets, which in this case is 5, here on the left hand side of the box, outside the box. Now we put our first term above the first box, so above the first column. And now we put our second term, which in this case is -3, above our second column. And always add in the sign or else it will mess up your whole answer. Now we just multiply what's on the side by what's on the top. So 5 multiplied by x will give us 5x. -3 multiplied by 5 will give us -15. Now to finalize our answer, we just need to take it out of the boxes. So 5x minus 15. The numbers outside the boxes, they don't exist anymore. We don't need to rewrite them. Now, since we don't have any like terms, we can't simplify it any further, so this is our answer. This one's very similar to the previous one, because if we look at it, we only have one number outside of the brackets. So that again means we only need one row. So we draw our rectangular box, and now we count the numbers inside the brackets. So we have x is 1, and we have plus 12, which is our second term. So 1, 2, we need to split it in 1, 2 columns. The number outside the brackets goes again on the left hand side, outside of the box, 6x. And now our first term goes above the first column, x, And then our second term goes above the second column, plus 12. And now we just multiply. So we multiply the number on the side by the number on top of the column we're working on. So we're working on this one. So we multiply 6x by x, which will give us 6x squared. And now we multiply this number, the same row, and then we multiply this column. So we multiply it by 12. So 6x by plus 12 will give us 72x. And we always have to add in our signs. So to finalize our answer, we take it out of the boxes. So these don't exist anymore. And then our answer is 6x squared plus 72x. And we see that we don't have like terms here. So that means our answer is finalized, and that is our answer. So this one looks a bit more difficult because we have two sets of brackets, but the concept is still the same. And now that I think of it, maybe I should change the brackets to different colors. So the concept is still the same. We count how many terms are in the first bracket. So we have 4x, which is going to be our first term in the first bracket, and we have plus 6, which is going to be our second term in the first bracket. So since we have two numbers here, these are going to be our rows. So 1, 2, we need 2 rows, or 2 rectangles, I guess. This is going to be our first row, this is going to be our second row. Now we count the amount of terms in the second bracket. So 2x is our first term in the second bracket, minus 4 is our second term in the second bracket. That means we need 2 columns. So we have first column and second column. Now we put these numbers on the side here, and we put the first term outside of the first row. So this is our first row. We put it on the left hand side of our first row. So 4x will go here, and then plus 6 will go on the left hand side of our second row. Now we put these numbers on top. So 2x is our first term in the second bracket. That means we put it above the first column, 2x. And then minus 4 is our second term. That means we put it above the second column, minus 4. Now we do the same thing we did in the previous example. So we multiply this number by this number because we're working in this box. So we need this row and we need this column. So 2x multiplied by 4x will give us 8x squared. Now 4x multiplied by this number above the second column, so minus 4, which will give us minus 16x. Now we multiply the first column, the number here, because this is the second row we're working with, and we're working with the first box of the second row. So 6 multiplied by 2 will give us 12x. And since we're working with the second box in the second row, we multiply by whatever's on top of the second column. So 6 multiplied by minus 4 is going to give us minus 24. And now to finalize our answer, we need to take it out of the box. So again, these cancel out, they don't exist. 8x squared minus 16x plus 12x minus 24. Now, since these two are alike, we need to add them. Now, since no more terms here are like, our answer is finalized. We can't simplify it anymore, so that is our answer. This one is the exact same as the one we had in our previous example. Again, we have two sets of brackets, and we need to count how many terms in each bracket. So in the first bracket, we have 6x, which is our first term in the first bracket, and minus 2, which is our second term in our first bracket. That means we need 2 rows. So we have our first row and our second row. Now we count how many terms in the second bracket. So x squared is our first term, plus 3x is our second term, and plus 1 is our third term. That means we need 3 columns. So we have our first column, our second column, and our third column. Now we put the first term of the first bracket beside our first row, 6x, and we put our second term beside the second row. Now we're on to the top. We put our first term of the second bracket above the first column, so x squared, and we put our second term above our second column, plus 3x. And now lastly we put our third term above the third column, so plus 1. So now it's just the exact same as what we did in the previous question. So we multiply the first column by the first row to get the first box. So we have 6x multiplied by x squared will give us 6x cubed. Now since we're in the second box, we're doing the second term by the first row. So 3x multiplied by 6x will give us 18x squared. 18x squared. And now we multiply the third column by the first row. So 6x plus 1 will give us just plus 6x. Now we multiply the second row. So the second row by the first term will give us minus 2x squared, because we have minus 2 by x squared. Now the second row by the second column, minus 2 multiplied by 3x will give us minus 6x. And now lastly, the third column by the second row, which is minus 2 by 1, which is minus 2. Now we just take it out of the box. Remember, these don't exist anymore. 6x cubed plus 18x squared plus 6x minus 2x squared. Oh, I don't think I'm going to have enough space. Minus 6x minus 2. So we put together the like terms. These two are like, and these two are like. So we can add them. We bring this one down because nothing happens to it. 6x cubed plus 18x squared minus 2x squared gives us plus 16x squared. And now plus 6x minus 6x will give us 0. So we can either write down the 0 or we can leave it as it is. And now minus 2 stays the same, so minus 2. So our answer is 6x cubed plus 16x squared minus 2. We can't simplify any further.